In the medical world, we would often refer to this as a problem. No, I don't have an addiction to earbuds at all. I just happen to own this many amount of pairs. And remember, I'm not rich. I am just irresponsible. So, what's the point of this video? Well, this video actually took me a while to get through, essentially, because originally when I started the idea to, well, first of all, the Quinn Talk series, I always wanted to make a comeback. I just didn't know exactly what to talk about. That wasn't so damn serious. But in any case, I wanted to just, talk about whatever I want to talk about. And then I was like, well, what's the easiest thing I can talk about? Headphones. Or in this case, earbuds specifically. Now, I'm not an audiophile by any means. I've only just barely put my toe in the world that is audiophile thanks to DankPods, one of my new favorite YouTubers. But I did have a dilemma before actually watching him, when it came to getting new headphones. I never realized that what I wanted in headphones was so difficult to find. And what I mean is I always wanted to find someone that outperforms these guys. There's nothing wrong with the ones I have now. It's just I no longer have an iPhone. I recently switched back to Android, and I acquired myself a OnePlus 8 Pro a while ago. And one of the things I missed a lot about not having an iPhone is the ecosystem, which is a shame because it's kind of difficult, I would say, to find another company that has its own ecosystem. And what I mean by this is that, okay, so right off the bat, when you have the AirPods right here, AirPods work with iPhones, iPads, and the MacBook seamlessly. When I had my MacBook, my friend should return it at some point, but when I had my MacBook, you open these near it, and it just immediately detected it. It had a little pop-up. You hit connect, or something. I don't even remember if you had to hit connect. It's been such a long time at this point. But you hit connect, and it just worked. And Apple had a flawless ecosystem with their phones and their laptops and their watches, which, by the way, if this is just a warning to any other Apple users to switch to Android, if you like your watch, don't switch. Because once you switch, your watch is basically only tells time at that point. Because it can only work with an iPhone, essentially. Which is wild to me, because I feel like, if Apple allowed their watches to work on other phones, they would sell a lot, because I think, as of right now, don't quote me on this, but I think the Apple Watch is the hardest one to beat yet. I think its contender right now is the Samsung Galaxy Wear, which seems like it's doing well, but I don't know enough about Samsung Galaxy to really make a comment on that. Maybe it's something I'll explore later down the line, but for right now, I am in my comfort zone, and I'm just going to be talking about earbuds. Now, the earbuds I have here, this one's getting its own video. These two are getting their own videos. So I guess for right now, I just want to talk about these guys. So, what is my story here? First off, when I switched from AirPods to... Actually, I made the switch to AirPods to Pixel Buds. The reason I made the switch is because I wanted the same ecosystem feeling. I didn't want to open up a pair of headphones and, have to go to my Bluetooth settings and connect it. It's just something I wanted. It's not something that was necessary. And I'll actually talk about this in the Teletronic videos, what is want versus need. Because a question I asked myself after I have long gone abandoned these, what am I looking for in my headphones? Am I looking for the same functionality? Am I looking for good sound? Or am I looking for headphones that have, the ability to seamlessly switch between normal, transparent, or sound canceling, noise canceling. Wow. I'm pretty sure no one's ever said sound canceling. But in any case, I started small. I said I wanted something that goes with my phone the same way an AirPod pairs with an iPhone. And that's why I turned to these guys. These are the Pixel Bud 2s. I was really excited for these to be released. You're going to notice there's no light here because I haven't charged this in a very long time because I've abandoned these. These were weird from the start. I was really disappointed. It's so well made, it's so nice, and it has a satisfying opening closing, and there's a lot of cool things about this. The fit I had to learn because this little stem here was just kind of awkward, but for the most part, I really enjoyed my experience with this, and the sound even was pretty okay. It's still, this one still beats it by far, but I still prefer the sound on this one, but I just liked how these felt so much, I was giving them a chance. What lost me about them was this little, these are really small. These are really, really, really small. If you compare them in size to, well, I mean, this is unfair because the AirPods have a stem. The one, what? I can't compare them to those because they have a stem. So these guys, these are the Teletronic 97s, Sound Liberty 97s. And these are going to get their own video, but you can see in the size that this is a little thicker. But the reason for this is because I actually believe that the antenna in here works significantly better than the one in here. I had a shit ton of connection issues. The Bluetooth seemed to be going on and off. My songs would skip, and the type of the music I listen to, or anyone listens to, because all music has some sort of climax, beat drop, breakdown. If you're a metalhead, when your song cuts out from that, your vibe is just gone, and your feelings that you felt when you were listening to the song just kind of dissipate. Maybe it's just me because I just really get into the songs I'm listening to, but at the end of the day, no. So after a while, these started getting really weird with charging. It looks like my case would constantly lose battery, and these would just stay at 100. But I guess it just didn't stop charging no matter what. And I don't know. Everything got weird with this, so I didn't want it anymore. So for a long time, it was hopeless. I was really trying to find somebody that sounded, I guess, equal to the AirPods, but also with the same ecosystem feeling. And I guess I can talk about these now because I don't have too much to say about them other than they're kind of disappointing. What I mean by that is when I bought the Soundcore Liberties, I really expected them to be not an AirPod Pro killer. I didn't expect that, only because it's hard. It really is hard to beat Apple sometimes. But I just expected something of near quality or close. And while the build on this is pretty good, the surface area seems to catch on like fingerprints and grease and whatnot. But in any case, I love the satisfying opening. The cores themselves are actually pretty decent in terms of how they're built and how they feel. It's just these tips are really thin. Like really, really super thin. And they just fall out of my ears so damn easily. I wanted these to win so bad, I got not one but 2 orders of memory foam buds to put into them. And while the fit worked, the sound was just off. Not to mention that when you put on these, these are big fucking boys. These are thick boys. This memory foam's a thick material. So when you put them in the SoundCloud Liberties, the case doesn't close and it ends up being like a little open, and you can tell that's not how it's meant to be. And if I kept going for a long period of time with that setup, eventually this mechanism would either break completely or just wouldn't seal as good as it does now. It has the same... What I will give Soundcore Liberty credit for is that their ecosystem their app tries to mimic what the AirPods do, which is you go on your iPhone and you can select, I want this to be transparent, I want these to block out all noise. It tries that, but the function in it is just not as good. And honestly, it was a bit of a letdown, especially since these are the most expensive headphones that I bought recently. Yes, even more expensive than the OnePlus Z's. But these are the most expensive ones I have on the table right now, and they're honestly the worst. And yeah, I mean that wholeheartedly. In terms of sound, I really just did not enjoy these. I felt like these were actually better when they were working, but since they're not working anymore and they can't hold a charge, that's disqualified. So I really tried to like the AirPod Pro killer, but for me, it's just not for me. Plus, the sound on this was really weird. I felt like my volume had to be really high to get like a decent amount of noise coming from these. And I don't even listen to music that high to begin with. I'm really trying to take care of my ears and not trying to, I don't want to hear that nice little ringing sound for the rest of my damn life. So I'm trying to not have to have the volume so loud just for these to do something. And I know there's EQ settings and all that to get the best performance, but honestly, in my eyes, if the headphones don't already come with decent sound in it, you have to tweak to make it have good sound, then the headphones themselves aren't even providing that sound. It's just you messing with your settings that's doing it, and that's something you can do with any pair of headphones. So that's really all I have to say regarding these. So back to my original point. I tried to find someone that actually rivaled these, and even though I got these are brand new out of the box. They're the OnePlus Zs. And the OnePlus Z, you can see... you can see. Oh, my lord. You can see have a similar vibe to the original AirPods, except obviously have their own good design. Right now, I'm using my OnePlus to film this. On my phone, it opens up a little box to tell me the battery life on these things, just like the AirPods did to my iPhone, which I greatly appreciate. Now, I won't lie. I bought these expecting them to disappoint me. I really did. I bought these as a joke. Because OnePlus 9 was just announced, so their store finally stocked, and I was able to get myself the wireless charger, finally. It's been sold out for so damn long, and now I finally have my hands on them, and it's just been fun. I've only had it for a couple days, but I just like the feeling. I've wanted OnePlus for such a long time, so to have a couple items of theirs finally, it just feels great. But that's another story for another time. But honestly, I bought these as a joke. I've read the reviews. A lot of people have been saying very different things about... I guess not everyone was built the same, but a lot of people, had problem with connection, reliability, sound. But I put these in, and Jesus and Lord Almighty, these are my new main earbuds as of right now, I believe. And I really wanted these two to be my new mains, switching on and off. This gets its own video because I'm just very fascinated about Teletronics in general. That was actually introduced to me by DangPods. I bought the wrong model, but it ended up turning into something else, and then I bought a second model for later. But in any case, I really enjoy the OnePlus Zs, and it gives me that similar eco feeling that the iPhone gave me when I opened this phone. And the Pixel Buds did too. I actually forgot to mention the Pixel Buds, because OnePlus uses a Google interface, did the same exact thing. You just opened your Pixel Buds and Android was like, hey, our product's here. And then they showed you everything, and it worked phenomenally in the beginning. I just wish it lasted on later on in life. But in any case, these are my new main headphones. I do have a couple gripes. The box and they come in is a little strange. I'm actually not a fan of this. I didn't like this. I would have actually preferred if they did come in something like this, like vertical as opposed to horizontal, because I just feel like for stems, having them laid down like that is just super, super weird. But honestly, orientation of the earphones, wow. The earbuds themselves doesn't really matter as long as they deliver quality sound. And honestly, for right now, these do. If something happens or changes with this later on, I'll talk about it, obviously. But for right now, oh god, it just started raining. I thoroughly enjoy these, and I'm really excited to keep listening to them. So that's pretty much it. Just a little introduction. I just really wanted to talk about earbuds and what the future of my channel is going to look like. And honestly, I'm just going to upload whatever the hell I want. I always have things I want to talk about, but I feel like there's no one to listen. So my goal with this is just to talk about the things I want to, and then maybe someday somebody will come string along and, like what I'm talking about, and maybe, I can't say learn something, I'm no teacher, but just, I guess, walk through my journey with me, whether I'm talking about headphones, I might talk about my over-ears at some point, my experience with gaming headsets, and then the biggest video that I think I'll be making will be talking about my history with cell phones. No joke, I've owned almost every brand of cell phone. I used to be able to say that I owned every brand until these monster brands like Huawei, Pogo, all these other boys start to slowly show up, and I can't say that anymore. But that's okay, because I've found my home in OnePlus, and I think that's where I'll stay for a bit. Anyway, this weird video was weird. I hope it was it had some sort of structure. It's unscripted. I tried to script. I really did. It wasn't working. So next time I'm going to talk about the Tautronics, my experience with them. And then maybe if something wild happens with the OnePlus Zs, I'll talk about that too. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hate outros, so yeah.